It ain't the size that counts, asshole. It's what you do with it. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Dave Cave. I, as always, am Dave. Now, before we get started, stay on top of all things horror and heroes as it comes fresh out of the Dave Cave. Hit that subscribe button so you don't miss a minute. Today, we are continuing my Child's Play review series with the film that leans so hard into Chucky that it completely abandons any semblance of the Child's Play title with Bride of Chucky. Bride of Chucky was directed by Ronnie Yu, who will later go on to direct Freddy vs. Jason. Stars Katherine Heigl, brings in Jennifer Tilly as Tiffany, who is awesome in this movie. We'll talk more about her. And then also brings back Brad Dourif as Chucky. Yet again, the star of the entire series by this point. The film picks up 10 years after the original, which technically puts it 2 years after 3, because 3 was 8 years after 2. I don't know. They don't care. I don't care. Fuck it, let's move on. And the film starts off following Chucky's still very alive, still very obsessed girlfriend, Tiffany, who is trying to track down his pieces, which still, again, I don't understand how they got all the pieces back together from what happened in Child's Play 3. They really kind of take some liberties with that because that doll is not what we see in this movie. But anyway, Tiffany uses her charm and looks to get this cop to go into an evidence locker, which is a completely ridiculous evidence locker scene that has Jason's, faux mask, a painted white William Shatner mask, a chainsaw, and legit Freddy's glove. It's a complete pop culture reference mess and just gives you an idea of how just they don't care about this movie anymore. They really don't. And once Tiffany gets Chucky's body back, she sews it together, brings his soul back into the doll, and after that, the reunion goes south very fast and ends up with Chucky murdering Tiffany and transferring her body into a doll. That then sets a whole plan in motion to try to get both of them out of their dolls using what's called the Heart of Damballa that was buried with Chucky after the events of the first one. Yeah, there's a lot of plot holes. Again, they don't care. We don't care. It doesn't matter anymore. If you've seen my other videos in this review series, you know that some of my favorite parts of 1, 2, and 3 are the intros. The intro in this movie sucks. It sucks really bad. There's no semblance of any kind of awesomeness to it. There's no unique kind of way of going about it. Now, we do get a little bit of a cool scene when you finally get Tiffany sewing Chucky together. There's a cool kind of visual, kind of doll, human kind of feel to it. But really overall, compared to the first 3, they kind of crapped out on the intro. It's really not solid at all, and really it's a sign of the times. This film feels very much like a late 90s slasher film, and it is. This movie came out in 1998, came out the same year as Halloween H2O, which is funny because despite coming out a couple months apart, they have a very similar credit scene where they have all these newspaper clippings. They have it of Michael in Mary Wittenden's office. They have it of Chucky in Tiffany's trailer. They have very similar tones. And another part that's very similar is the soundtrack. You get this very late 90s Scream, I Know What You Did Last Summer, Halloween H2O feel to it. It's so dripping of late 90s slasher. I will say for the intro, there is one kind of cool aspect, and that is the fact that the first kill of the movie, the very first kill, does not come from Chucky. Which, you don't really get that. It's going to come from Chucky because last we saw him, he was dropping a gigantic ass fan. But you get a kill that isn't from Chucky. And you really get a sense that this ex-girlfriend, or girlfriend, or whatever you want to call her, is just as crazy as Chucky, and she's going to be in the carnage just as much as he is. And holy shit is she. And it's a good thing that she is so much a part of the kills and carnage of this movie, because the kills and the carnage are really the centerpiece for this movie. Where Child's Play 3 kind of got into it, had a little bit more spectacle of the kills, this one is all about the spectacle of the kills. You have a lot of them, they're crazy, and just, that's really all you're there for anymore. That's really all Bride of Chucky is about, is the kills. The movie even goes so far as to have it kind of be a competition between Tiffany and Chucky for who has the better kill, who has the more quality of a kill. And really, there are some quality kills. But we're going to pump the brakes because we're going to have plenty of time to talk about those later. Just hold on. Another pretty big part of this film that let me down was the logic of resurrection. Now, I wouldn't comment on that at all if 1, 2, and 3 hadn't done it so well. It makes so much sense in 1, 2, and 3 how it came back together. Now, I understand that they used the voodoo, they tied the doll back together, they sewed the doll back together, stapled the doll back together. It's essentially the same doll. But when you compare it from 3 to 4, Bride, they're not the same. It's not the same wounds. His face gets cut off, which it shouldn't be there. It shouldn't be attached to any way, shape, or form. That would have been a hell of a Chucky to see. If we got the end of 3's Chucky with the face missing through the whole movie, that would have helped this a lot. But we didn't. And as I said, I did enjoy the scene where Tiffany is rebuilding Chucky and sewing him back together and stapling him back together. I like that because it also gives the kind of ongoing parallel between Chucky and Tiffany and Frankenstein and the Bride of Frankenstein. I got it. I dug it. It was good. And speaking of Tiffany, Jennifer Tilly bringing that character into this movie was a great breath of fresh air. I loved that character. The way Jennifer Tilly plays her is really exactly how that character should be played. She is an abused, crazy person. So you have her crazy, and holy shit does her crazy match Brett Dorff's Chucky crazy. It goes hand in hand, they sound great together, but then you also have the way she plays, how he abuses her. Mentally, and eventually physically, but mostly mentally. The way he tears her down and the way he talks to her. You feel sad for her. She's fucking crazy 7 ways to Sunday, but you feel sad for her because Chucky is just this supreme asshole to her. He really is. And it is showcased so much more in this film. How much of an asshole Chucky is. I know I have said it before in my previous reviews. Just how much I don't enjoy him as a person. For his personality, he is a supreme dickhead. And it shines so hard in this movie with how he treats Tiffany. Oh, it just sucks so bad. What's interesting and really kind of confusing is that despite the fact that they make Chucky this big-time asshole in this movie, they make him pretty soft. They really do. They have him get down on one knee. They have him propose. They give him moments of legit levity. Now, I understand that not everybody who is a bad guy is a bad guy all the time, so to speak. They're not always sitting in the corner going, I get that. But to see this killer having levity and being basically just a regular dude, it takes away from Chucky. It takes away from really any kind of horror gravity that he has in this film. He's just a dude. It'd be like seeing Michael Myers sitting out back by a grill flipping burgers. It would take away from everything that the character is. And again, this movie doesn't seem to give a shit, but I give a shit. And with that failure to Chucky's street cred, you have a failure to balance tones in this movie. You have them try to be funny. Straight up comedy moments. And you also have straight up horrific moments. Like when Chucky and Tiffany are constantly trying to one-up each other. When you have Tiffany in the stove and she pops up. That is a legit horror movie moment. And I like those moments. There are plenty of those moments in this movie. This movie could have been a hard horror movie with the same storyline. You really could have done it. But they leaned into the comedy. They wanted it to be more silly. They wanted it to be more hokey. They wanted it to be a horror comedy. This is the first of the series that's listed on IMDb as a horror comedy. And it shouldn't, but they did. I didn't make the movies, as I've said before, so I'll let it go. And one of those downright comedy moments, you know where I'm going with this, is that cringy-ass sex scene. Now I know and remember when this film came out, everybody wanted to see the fact that Chucky was going to have a sex scene and how ridiculous that was going to be. It was a drawing point for this movie. I completely understand. But it really doesn't make sense in any way, shape, or form in terms of this movie. Unless Tiffany has a bunch of dolls hanging around her RV that have dicks, Chucky is not anatomically correct. He can't feel like Pinocchio. I understand that they have a moment. They talk about Tiffany's tears. Chucky can bleed. They have the dolls evolving into humans, I don't think that means that he's going to sprout a dick. I really don't. But for the sake of what you would call logic in this film, they go with it. And yes, I'm aware that if they did not have this sex scene, we would not have the ever great sequel that is Seed of Chucky. And now we are going to talk the main reason really anybody would have for wanting to rewatch Bride of Chucky, and that is what they really lean into as the centerpiece of the movie, the kills. Bride of Chucky features the most kills of the entire series. I'm not saying it has more all put together, but film by film, this has the most. And every single kill is some kind of elaborate or some kind of crazy. Nothing is straightforward in this film. You get Damien's lip ring rip and then he gets smothered. You get Tiffany, she gets electrocuted to death. You have David scared out into traffic. You have Uncle Warren, well, first he gets the pinhead look and then he gets stabbed to death. But even then, it's a stab to death of somebody that looks like Pinhead. Nothing is just a straightforward kill in this movie. And you can tell that that's what they want you to walk away with in this film. They want you to walk away talking about how crazy the kills are, and you do. So bravo to that. And of those crazy ass kills, which one is your favorite? Hit the comments below. Let me know. Pretty sure mine's David. One of my greatest, possibly my greatest disappointment in Bride of Chucky is that despite the fact that they went hard in the paint with all of the kills in this film, well, almost all of the kills in this film, despite the fact that they really went for it, they bitched out in the one part that I love or have consistently loved through all of the other three movies, and that is the death of Chucky. What the hell? Like, really? What the hell? We have 3 previous entries where he completely gets maimed, murdered, torn apart, just fucked up beyond recognition. We really get that. And as movies go, you're supposed to get crazier. And I understand that this movie gets crazier in a lot of different ways. But when it comes to Chucky, you have him shot 6 times and fall over and die. Michael Myers handled that. He's handled worse. Child's Play 1. He gets set on fire. He gets a leg blown off. He gets pieces blown off of him. And he keeps coming. Child's Play 2 gets both of his legs blown off. Keeps coming. He is going after these people in these movies. But in this one, I understand that he's just in a grave and he's basically a sitting duck. But he is handled worse. A lot worse. So to have him go out to gunfire, just 6 shots, why not go hard? Why not have a gigantic finale kill for Chucky? Go for it. Do it. They did in the last 3. Try harder. Much like Child's Play 3, I remember enjoying Bride of Chucky when it first came out. And I remember watching it again numerous times as a kid. Well, kind of as a kid. And as I said in my Child's Play 3 review, I can tell now why it is that I enjoyed 3 and Bride so much is because of the spectacle of the kills. This one, as I said, really leans into the kills. And at that time of my life, seeing cool, crazy-ass kills was awesome. That was enough for me. But in rewatching this, just like 3, this film has gone down a peg for me. 1 and 2 have gone up. 3 and 4, well, Bride, have gone down. And again, that's a bummer. Now, don't get me wrong. There are plenty of things in this film that I thoroughly enjoy. As crazy as they are, I do enjoy the kills. I very much enjoy the introduction of Tiffany and Chucky's psychodynamic. When they are doing work, I like them a lot together. And really, I like seeing Chucky work. I like him work, I like him rage, and I like him murdering. That's what I love seeing that character do. But you know what I don't need in a Child's Play movie? Ever? Fucking romance. I don't need it. I don't need it from the humans. I don't need it from Chucky. I don't need it. Get that shit out of here. I would say also that Chucky and Tiffany, the animatronics for those dolls, look awesome. Again, the best the dolls have looked yet. And again, the kills and the carnage, proper and solidly well done. But the tone is weak, and the story's even weaker. If you have a choice between watching Bride or rewatching 1 and or 2, go rewatch 1 and or 2. Save yourself the time. But because there is a lot of love for Bride of Chucky out there, hit the comments below and let me know where you would rank this. Top 3, bottom 3, hell, everything is better than Seed these days. Hit the comments, let me know. And while you are down there, I have links to the rest of my Child's Play review series in the description below, as well as some other Child's Play related videos that I've done in the past. So be sure to go check those out. Also down there, I have links to my Instagram and Twitter, both of which are @thedavecave_. I post over there when I'm not posting here. All right, well, that is going to do it for me today. Thank you so much, as always, for stopping by the Dave Cave. See y'all real soon for Seed of Chucky. Until then, take care.